bring out Tom Welling. Tom Welling! This is amazing, right? How you doing, Tom? Yes, he is the Superman that is on time. Yeah, just sit here, we're gonna do this, and then...
We didn't want to just wait for these other slackers. We wanted to get the party started, right? All right.
You are Superman to a whole generation of fans without even having to put on the suit, which is incredible. And also, the one thing that I loved most about your show was the father-son relationship with Jonathan and Clark. Talk to me about working and cultivating that relationship with John Schneider.
Well, it was actually really cool because I knew who John was from growing up on Dukes of Hazzard. But it wasn't until like the second or third season, he really did take me under his wing because I really didn't know what I was doing. And that whole like hand on the shoulder thing, that was actually John talking to Tom a lot of times.
Really?
And I remember it was like season 2, season 3, he goes, you know, I used to be on a television show myself. And I'm like, yeah, Dukes of Hazzard. He's like, you know that? I'm like, yeah. He goes, why didn't you say anything? He's like, I've been too nervous.
Team! You know, we didn't
Wow, we were just talking about you.
the new, Brandon Routh, Tim Daly, Tyler Hoechlin, and George Newbern. Here we go, the Supermen in the house. We have a full panel now.
Now it's time for you guys. You know?
I can't believe all these people came to see Tom Welling. They really do cast the Superman. Like, I'm 6 foot even, I feel like, and I'm the shortest person on this stage.
Yeah, I'm not.
You're definitely. All right, we have the full Superman here. The role of Superman comes with a lot of responsibility and fan expectation. For each of you, how did you prepare for the role?
I was almost played him like almost embarrassed of being Superman.
Really?
Yeah, like the idea of the name. So we actually in the flashback episode, we had the line where she says, you know, how did you know this was happening? I said, oh, my hearing. And at first I said my super hearing. And I had asked our showrunner, I'm like, can we just say my hearing? And then she says, hearing? And I go, well, my super hearing. As just kind of an aside. And then so when I leave at the end of that scene and they go, who was that? She goes, that's Superman. So she kind of gives the name. And so we kind of playing with that a little bit. It was like, it grounded him for me and made it really more relatable. So.
Can I tell a slightly off-color story?
Absolutely, you can. That's what we're here for, man.
There he goes.
I sort of, modeled things, or I could not get out of my mind Christopher Reeve because he was my Superman. Same there. But I remember one time Al Roker came to interview me when I was doing the show, and he said, so what is it like doing the voice of Superman? And I said, well, it's interesting because he's always getting smashed, with stuff, and girders and trains, and electrocuted and laser beamed and all that stuff. And I said, so the majority of my work is actually a lot of grunting, straining, screaming, and yelling noises. And I said, come to think of it, it's a little disconcerting to think that the children of America have a pretty good idea what I sound like in bed.
Or the bathroom.
Better you said bed than the bathroom.
And the woman from Warner Brothers who was there was like, cut. And they sent me a very nice letter asking me to please desist from saying things like that in public. I was continually preparing myself for it through the 7-8 month process of getting cast. And Chris always was who I modeled the character after before it was the script that it was, back when it was another version of the script, and the same core and the same heart. So I felt that, I guess, strongly enough, and I trusted in whatever that was that I couldn't put to words, the energy that Chris, that I received from him in the role, and went with that as best I could.
It was terrifying for me because when Christopher Reeve, as Tim mentioned, and Brandon, it was my Superman 100%. I grew up with him and watching him fly. When I heard they were going to do a television version of it, I was terrified. Like, this is going to suck, right? They won't be able to do anything. We won't have the effects. This is going to be awful. This is before all of these other superhero shows had been on, so it had been a long time since there'd been something like that on television, and the last one was George Reeves' version, and I didn't want to make that one as much at that current day. But I liked his Clark Kent. So fortunately for my version, the version that we had, Deborah Joy Levine created a great situation where it was about Lois and Clark and a different thing, and I was able to just sort of hide myself in that script, because it's way too much to think you're going to be playing Superman. I mean, I got the job, and then I went skiing like 2 days later with my buddy. We had already a trip planned. We're going up the lift, it's quiet, the snow's falling. And he just looks at me and goes, dude, for the rest of your life, someone's going to call you Superman. What does that feel like? And I was like, I don't know. I have no idea. You can never know until you're thrown into the fire. And obviously all of us have experienced that, but it's pretty amazing. It's something when people are like, does it bother you when people call you Superman? I'm like, are you kidding? I'd be called a lot worse, and I'll take that in a heartbeat. So honored to be up here with these guys, and honored to be able to play the character.
I think if Clark would have put the suit on in the first 3 seasons, we'd have never gone 10.
I completely agree with you.
We kind of had to do that, and I meet some people who come to the table and they're dressed, and I'm like, how come you didn't want to put the suit on? And I hate breaking their heart, being like, I never wanted to. And apparently they're tight. Yeah. And they don't breathe well. Tyler, I think that was your big one thing you would change, right? You mentioned
the suit doesn't breathe well?
It's great. We did one of these a couple weeks ago, and they said, what's the one thing you would change about your character? And you're like, the fit of the suit?
Yeah, probably.
Yeah, that's all I was referring to. Sorry.
It's easier to fight in sweats. That's all I'm saying.
I can imagine. Dean,
You don't feel as powerful.
can you talk about emulating Chris, but also still making the role completely your own?
The only conscious shift I thought I had about Clark was I didn't want him to necessarily just be bumbling and be clumsy. Like, I had to figure out a reason why he's like that. He's not putting on an act. It's because he's excited to human. He hasn't humaned. He's very excited. Listen, I'm a human who didn't human that much until he moved out to got in college and then moved out to LA. Like, I lived a kind of quiet life, and it's fun to human as long as we do it safely and with love. So
Absolutely.
that just means interact with the world and be a part of it and see how cool we all are.
Are you guys down to play a fun little game we have set up? The second one? We have the second? Okay.
Well, that's me.
Oh, this.
I'll tell you that right now. I can see the Asian eyes.
Look at that.
There they are. Well, that was a promo. That was a promo photo early on.
Do you have any fun stories about this promo photo and wearing this suit in particular?
Well, I was terrified to put the suit on because they brought me this one-piece piece of Lycra, and they said, put it on. And I had a little space, go to the bathroom, and I was like, this doesn't feel super. It's bad. Yeah. And then we got, Brandon's thrown his card key around. If anybody wants to go to his Brandon's room later. And then we got the little red undies, and that was helping in this, and even that, then we got the boots, the cape even on, but without the S, I felt naked. I got the S, so that was it. So it worked out.
Can you talk about when you were first cast, the audition process for the role?
When I was first cast, it was a total mistake. I mean, I was doing a TV show called Wings. And Arlene Sorkin was married to one of our executive producers, a guy named Chris Lloyd, who went on to create, Modern Family, and sure, he's a great writer. Anyway,
Nice mid-range jump shot.
Arlene walked up to me one day and said, "Hey, would you be interested in auditioning for the voice of Superman?" And I said, "I don't know, sure." And so I went to the studio and I met Arlene. I met Andrea Romano, and I tried to do some Superman voice, and she said, "No, calm down, Buster. Just do it regular." And I did it, and they said, "You're hired." And I was like, "What?" I had no idea what was in store. And to my shame, I didn't quite understand what an archetypal character Superman was and how meaningful he was to so many people. I thought that I was doing something fun for a bunch of kids on Saturday morning. I didn't really realize that Superman had become part of the collective consciousness almost. So it was a responsibility that I don't think take quite seriously enough at the time. But I had a great time, and my Superman outfit was like my jammies. Because it was just my voice. I didn't have to shave, I didn't have to be all handsome like these guys. I could just go in, George and me would just show up.
We have a face for radio, right?
But
You didn't wear the suit at home?
I mean, I could have done it at home, but Andrea was so wonderful, and the most fun was when the whole cast was there. When I got to work with Kevin Conroy, I mean, yay, Kevin! And all the folks who came and did little parts on the series was just great. So that's the story.
Incredible. Yeah, that's definitely
It was only a t-shirt. They didn't even build me a full suit.
Was it really only a t-shirt?
Oh yeah, they were like, because we very much storyboarded this shot on purpose, and the crane was going to come in, and I would run up to the crane, and the crane was going to stop, and I was going to stop, and if we didn't, we'd crash into each other. And the wardrobe people were like, so you're not going to see the full suit? Like, yeah, we're like, well then why were we going to build a whole suit? I mean, there got to be thousands of dollars. And so it ended up being some version, it's not necessarily a crop top.
Was it kind of a onesie there to just snap it?
Pretty sure there weren't sleeves. It was just what you see. And then that was it.
Pro tip, cosplayers, if you want to do Clark Kent, do the little onesie with no sleeves.
Yeah.
I have a question actually about this suit, because you were handed a suit from Jonathan Kent when you were Superman, you fly off. Was that a real suit?
I think, I don't remember. No. Probably no. I don't know if they may have said that they took it from one of the other movie sets.
I thought it looked more like yours.
Maybe.
S is similar to mine, so it might have been. Yeah, I don't know. But.
It might have been.
Interesting. All right. Yeah, Tyler, you had a lot of different iterations of the suit. There was a black suit you ended up wearing. There was, obviously it's Bizarro. You had the original Fleischer suit. Talk to me about your relationship with the suit, wearing it for 4 years, and how it got more comfortable over time.
Yeah, we did a lot of different versions of it. The Supergirl one, the Supergirl one that we had written initially had was really just built for me to be there as a guest star. It was really going to be 2 episodes, and that was really it. So when we decided we were going to do a standalone series, it was not built to withstand that. The cape was made of actual real heavy leather. So it was 12 to 15 pounds just dry, and then anytime we would be wet, it was 30 because it just pulled all the water. So we got rid of that. That was a good first step. And then, they just wanted, each season they wanted to creatively do something to evolve the suit and give us something new to play with. So they took that as an opportunity design-wise for functionality and for style to just continue to change it up. Honestly, the Fleischer suit was my favorite one to wear just because it's from that comic, which is awesome. And I got to do it just a couple times in the flashback scenes and everything. So that was my favorite one to wear. It was a little bit more nostalgic.
You got to create that iconic Superman pose from Superman #1, which is awesome. Yeah. Actually, Brandon, you kind of got to create it too with that Mustang in your film as well.
It's not as cool of a suit though.
I have a quick question. When you were on the show with the suit, were there suit days where that was the day they were shooting everything in the suit, or would they have you go in and out of it throughout scenes?
We would try to do that. We would try, but eventually we had to do things too, where we'd be in it for a certain amount of time, and then we'd have to get out of it for a while, just because stunt days and stuff. Yeah. Doing it looks great when it's on a mannequin, but reaching across, your left wrist is pulling on your right ankle. So it's just doing punches and stuff. So a full day of stunts, you're let's take a break, let's pause, let's have a little bit of water, and then go reset. So yeah.
About the Superman suits, I don't know if this is common knowledge, but I knew Chris Reeve a little bit. Oh, I dropped something. It's a name.
Hold on, I got that. So did I. I worked on this. Sorry. Good movie with Chris.
And Chris told me that the original Superman suit that he wore was a disaster. He could break out in these terrible rashes. It was really horrible for him, and they had to, put salve on it or something like that. Anyway, I thought that was common knowledge, maybe, but that's what he told me.
I gotta ask, because I'm on stage and I'm never gonna get this opportunity. Superman, trunks or no trunks? What says you?
My 6-year-old just asked me that the other day. Why is his underwear outside of his pants? I didn't know what to say.
I'm going trunks for sure.
Trunks for sure.
Trunks.
A little modesty is important.
Because it looks better. Thong.
To go along with those Superman noises you were making, huh, Tim?
And his jammies. That's all he had.
Tyler, how about you?
It's not a window.
You had them both in your show.
Yeah, I don't know. I know I had both on the show. The Fleischer suit was my favorite suit, I will say, but I did enjoy the no trunks. I enjoyed the on a daily basis, for for a special occasion, trunks. Regular basis, no trunks.
Formal Superman trunks, yes.
I'm going to say something different. I'm going to say the cape, and then the rest just commando.
There we go.
Bird, it's a plane, it's...
It's a bird, it's a what?
It's a problem.
Listen, gentlemen, it's been a pleasure being up here with you. Like I said, as a kid, Tyler, I've mentioned this on our panel before, but the way my parents used to make me go to church is if I was allowed to wear a Superman suit underneath my church clothes. And then, I got into Screen Rant because Clark Kent was a journalist, and I wanted to be a journalist. And now as a dad, Tyler, especially now, I so much identify so much more with Clark just being a father and trying to strive to what you guys each brought to the role. So thank you from the bottom of my heart, because this is a once-in-a-lifetime for me. This is incredible. Thank you. You guys down to thank all of you. Thank all of you for coming out here. Thanks, guys. Thank you.